I can't do it.
Okay.
We'll do it live.
Okay. No.
We'll do it live. It. Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live. Thing sucks.
Here we go, kiddos. It's another edition of the Daily Puck Drop. Welcome in. It is Thursday, March 12th on this wonderful day where it continues to rain and windy and all that. Hopefully everybody is safe out there in all the conditions around the Puget Sound area. All right, we got a great show for you here on a Thursday. We appreciate you spending some time with us, whether it's during the live show or watching or listening later. Big thanks. You can watch anywhere and listen anywhere. Of course, on YouTube, we stream the show live on YouTube and X. And, of course, you can visit the YouTube chat, by the way. Also, the Puck Sports mobile app, downloaded from the iOS and Google Play Store. Jacob, the app guy, was working hard this week to make some fixes. So hopefully he's fixed some stuff if people that like to use the app when they're in their car or listen on the move. Let me know if it's working. Also, of course, you can listen to the show later on all podcast platforms, Apple and Spotify. When you're there, please rate and review. So thank you. Doesn't matter how you take it in, as long as you take it in every single day. It helps. Appreciate it. Big thanks to Limback Lumber for their support. Limback Lumber Studios. We come via here every single day. Big thanks to them. They're going to take care of you there at Limback Lumber because they do work and they do business with a handshake and a smile, and they're just great people. They've got old school service because they've been in business since 1930, and they offer free deliveries, everything from whole house packages to homeowner do-it-yourself projects. I'm not a do-it-yourselfer, I'll tell you that. Give them a call, 206-782-3487. They love to hear from people. They're huge sports fans. Go in there and say hello. Tell them Puck sent you. Visit their website, limbacklumber.com. Visit me on all social media platforms, please. Puck Sports everywhere except for TikTok. It's Puck_sports. And go up to pucksports.com. There you can sign up to become a Puck's Posse member. Plus, we have all our contests up there. Puck the Picker. I've got this email from a lot of people. Puck the Picker will be coming back for the majors. And proud to partner once again with Gamble Sands and Premier Golf. So that's coming around the corner. We'll have that up on the website soon. So for those who played Puck the Picker last year, we play all the majors. You got to pick a different golfer for each major. So you got to think it out. Who do I want for the Masters? Who do I want for the PGA? Who do I want for the U.S. Open? Who do I want for the Open Championship? Cannot use the same golfer. All right, on a Thursday, of course, that means a visit with the one and only Mitch Levy, Mitch Unfiltered, KJ-Arent. Now, behind the scenes, we recorded this yesterday because we had to. With things going on, Mitch is busy. He's traveling. He is putting a group together to buy the Seahawks right now, and so he's flying up here to make his presentation. None of that is true, but I want to believe that's true. That's what he's doing. But we caught up with him late last night, so we'll play that coming around a little bit later in the show. Coming up in a few minutes, folks, and he's going to be with us every single Thursday now for the rest of the season and wearing the hat in his honor, the great, the one and only Everett Fitzhugh. Fitzy, the full Fitz, is going to be joining us every single Thursday to talk Kraken hockey throughout the rest of the season. We had such great feedback when he was on with us last time right after the Olympics when Team USA won. People are like, God, do you need to get him on every week? Yeah, why not? Let's get him on every week. And he's been great. I love him. You come away talking with Everett Fitzhugh, and you just feel better about yourself. He's just so high energy, so positive, and he's great. Of course, we'll talk about Team USA, Cole Young Power. I got some clips there from Ryan Divish. But we got to start before we get into Cole Young. U.S. survives. Thank God to Italy. Thank God to the Sasquatch because, I mean, that was the only way they were going to be able to get in, basically. And they did it. Italy took care of Mexico. So now it's all set up for Team USA. So at least they can put the drama of what happened with Mark DeRosa and all the other stuff kind of on the back burner for now. as they will get set for the quarterfinals, which is coming up tomorrow, 5 o'clock on Fox, taking on our good buddy Josh Naylor and Canada. Now, let me be the 1,356 person that will make this comment. I hope Josh Naylor tries to shake Cal Raleigh's hand. Just for shits and giggles, because it would be funny. You know what he's going to do, though? Naylor's going to do what most baseball players do, most hitters. He's going to come up and probably tap him on the shin guard and kind of move on. He's not going to try and agitate Cal Raleigh at all. If you did not join us yesterday and did not get a chance to listen to Ryan Divish, by the way, full episode up right now for Puck's Posse members, Inside Pitch with Ryan Divish. We talked yesterday about the situation with Randy Arozarena and Cal Raleigh. And Divish said to us yesterday that he heard on good authority, and when I mean good authority, like really good authority, like maybe first-person authority, that it was discussed before the game to Randy, hey, don't come over and try to shake my hand.
From everything I've been told, Randy knew not to try to shake his hand before he went up to the plate, that they had made it clear, like, hey, we're not doing that. And it was a Team USA thing. I think DeRosa talked about it in his presser, but it was like a Team USA deal. Like, hey, we're putting country ahead of teammates and friendship.
So that was the word there from Divish, that Randy Arozarena and Cal Raleigh appears had a conversation before this, that he knew not to do it and he did it anyways. Now, has this drama continued? We talked about this yesterday. People saying it's a non-story, just make it go away. Well, it's not going to go away, as we told you yesterday, unless it only goes away and is over if Randy were to talk to the media yesterday and say, hey, we're good. It's in the past. He's a teammate. I'm fine. But he didn't do that. He did not take any questions from reporters yesterday before they took on Italy. In fact, he declined all interviews. So at this moment, we still don't know what Randy is thinking. And now people are coming out and attacking Randy and all, whatever. I just think they all could have handled this better. One, Randy could have handled it better. I do think Cal could have handled it better. Again, if this was the MO of Team USA and this was their thing, I just think it's kind of silly. Me personally, I think it's just kind of silly that, we're going to treat them like the enemy and not talk to them. When I don't know, I think it's the ESPN Deportes Twitter handle is just having a field day with this thing. If you saw the game yesterday between the Dominican and Venezuela, it showed Fernando Tatis, and I'm blanking on the catcher, hugging before the game, before the at-bat. And the ESPN Deportes is like, see, just different with Latin players, and taking a shot at Cal Raleigh. So, again, it's a fracture of locker room, no, but this will continue to be a storyline until Randy probably puts it to bed. Cal said his piece, and it looks like he is kind of moved on. One other thing before we get to the full Fitz here with Everett Fitzhugh in just a moment. Again, Everett Fitzhugh joining us now weekly on Thursdays. Divish and I also talked yesterday about Cole Young and about how Cole Young has had a little bit of weight in this offseason. He's looked a little bit different from a physical standpoint at spring training. The one thing that's noticeable during spring, and this was before yesterday's game, is his power numbers. He was slugging over 600, got OPS of over 900, and he's got 3 home runs, and he's just been hitting the ball hard. And then he goes out yesterday on Wednesday and has 3 of the hardest hit balls of the spring, and continues to show this power display all spring long. 3 hits yesterday, last 7 games, 364, slugging 440 with an OPS over 1,000. Yeah, 2 doubles, 4 home runs, and 9 ribbies in the last 7 games. What's been the difference for Cole Young?
And I think he was fatigued last year, too. He played a lot of baseball. But towards the end, like, he was struggling to hit fastballs 95 and up. Know when you want to go pull side and hammer something, like, okay, that counts in your favor, or, a tendency, and they're going to, they like to go backdoor breaking ball to lefties. If they hang it, bang it, like, basically, like, and so that's kind of what he talked about this year, is learning when to go and when to really, like, try and drive pitches instead of just being happy with contact. That's something he's worked on down here, is just being able to drive the ball to, pull side or drive it. Like, he had a single the other day, runner second and third. He got 2 strikes down, fouled off a couple pitches, punches it to left center, scores and runs. I mean, that shows the growth. Like, he understands all of it. So I thought, early on, you could tell the timing was off and he did some stuff. And I mean, you look at the last few games, the production is there, and he does take his walks too.
And again, he does. He is just turning in again to a guy that is adding more power. And boy, what a luxury to have at second base. If Cole Young, who again is highly decorated in the minors, he came up when he came up last year. He was very good initially, and then certainly kind of cooled off at the end of the year. He's replaced really at the end of it with Polanco, and they just couldn't get back on the field. And so, but it'd be an added bonus to have this type of resurgence here for Cole Young, and he's still so young. That's what you always forget about these guys when they come up. I mean, Cole Young is a young baseball player. All right, we're gonna have some news on there. There's a running back that I want John Schneider to go after. We're gonna cover that a little bit later in the Daily Puck Drop. Again, KJ-Arent's coming up shortly, but happy to have this guy on board. The voice of your Seattle Kraken, the one and only Everett Fitzhugh, is going to be joining us every Thursday throughout the rest of the season. Ladies and gentlemen, the full Fitz with Everett Fitzhugh.
Physical nature. Now the Kraken rake it back in. Here's Beniers down the slot, near side. Everly scores! Oh, captain, my captain! 2-1, Seattle!
There he is. That's the laughter. That's the voice. That's the face. The one and only. The full Fitz. It is Everett Fitzhugh, the voice of your Seattle Kraken, joining us now. How about this? On a weekly basis.
Yeah, man.
On Puck Sports, because the people were, your last visit, they couldn't stop sending me texts and emails clamoring for you. Like, can you please get him on? And I said, you know what? Let's make it happen. And so he's agreed to do it. He's probably, folks, going to regret this decision at the end of the day. But you know what? We're gonna lie to him here for the next few weeks. Hi, Everett. How are you?
Hey, Puck. I'm doing well. Thanks to you. Thanks to the listeners and viewers for thinking that I did a slightly above adequate job, enough to have me back on a more consistent basis. Thank you very much.
All right, so we're gonna talk every week about Kraken hockey. Of course, the final what they got 19 games left in the season.
We're getting up to it, man.
Yeah.
We're getting against it. It's tight. It is real tight.
So we're going to talk obviously about where they're at right now and looking ahead here to the next week of games. Before we do that, I know that there's somebody watching and listening right now. And I know that back in the radio days when we had you on initially when you were hired, I'm sure we asked you this.
Yeah.
But I guarantee that there's someone out there that doesn't know. I think people would love to know the background of Everett Fitzhugh, how you got in love with the sport.
Yeah.
How did you end up being the voice of the Seattle Kraken?
Oh, my goodness. Well,
it's a long story, I would assume.
I was going to say, we got practice in about an hour and a half, so I'm going to have to really condense this down.
Cliff Notes.
Yeah, Cliff Notes version. So honestly, I fell into hockey by accident. I always knew that I wanted to work in sports. I just never knew what I wanted to do. Growing up as a kid, my idols were Stuart Scott on the Sports Center desk, right? I thought I was going to go from senior year of high school right to Bristol and take over for Stuart Scott. If you ask me, that was the goal. I get to college. I went to Bowling Green State University in Ohio, a place that I am very fond of and I'm very proud of. I did not know that you could go to school for play-by-play. You look at some of the greats who've ever done it, right? The Niehauses, the Rizzes, Dave Sims, who's a really good friend of mine now with the Yankees, looking for some Seattle broadcasters, right? I thought those guys were all grown in a lab somewhere. You can't go to school to be a broadcaster. So I ended up going to a Bowling Green radio sports organization meeting, fell in love with what I heard. The next few years, I did hockey broadcast. I was a color analyst, did some baseball, did some basketball, but hockey was my real passion. So my senior year of college, my 5th year in college, and then my first year out of school, I was lead play-by-play for Bowling Green for the hockey program. I graduate, leave school, and then I go to Chicago, work for the USHL, which is a junior hockey league. Those of you who were Tips or T-Birds fans, same level, just a different league in the U.S. So same kids. The USHL drafting and looking at the same pool of kids who were going to the T-Birds and Tips. So I was there for a year and a half. I go to Youngstown, Ohio for a year, working in the USHL on the team level, no longer on the league level. I stay there for a year. I go to Cincinnati, Ohio. There's a theme here. I'm a Midwestern kid. So I go to Cincinnati, Ohio, work in AA hockey, the ECHL, for 5 years. That is where Todd Lewicki, our CEO, our president at the time, found me. He sent me an email, and I thought it was spam for a second. I didn't even reply. Todd Lewicki, the guy that a lot of people credit for bringing, the Seahawks back to where they are right now and all that. I thought it was a spam message. I didn't even bother replying to his email. So he emails me back and says, "Hey, trying to get a hold of you." This is right before COVID happens in 2020. So we have a great conversation. I then get furloughed during COVID. He emails me back a couple of weeks later and says, "Hey, I know the whole world's been turned upside down, but we're still building and growing for our team here. And I'd love to talk to you about a position here." So that's how it happened. During the pandemic of 2020, I spent 4 months interviewing. They fly myself and my fiance, now my wife at the time, they fly us out here. Have a great conversation, great meeting. I saw the hole in the ground that was Key Arena, now Climate Pledge Arena. I came to the Northgate site and saw everything. And then July 14th, 2020, I got the phone call that, "Hey, you have achieved your dream and are now a National Hockey League broadcaster." So
all thinking that Todd Lewicki's trying to spam you.
Oh my goodness. It was so funny because I had a couple of folks in my old office that I liked and that I trusted. So I would call them in. I said, "Hey, no way this is real, right?" And again, I knew who Todd was, but when I saw, and I told Todd this, I was like, I saw the TOD. He only goes 1D. So I'm yelling down the hallway, "Great job spamming me, guys. There's 2 Ds in Todd." And then because it was just TOD, whatever the generic at NHL Seattle, whatever the email was. So I was like, "Guys, he didn't even get his email right." Well, turn to find out it was him. And that's how it happened. That is my journey to the Seattle Kraken.
But every young kid who has a love of sports, boy or girl, has someone that introduced them to said sport. So who was that for you? Who was it that took you to your first hockey game and introduced you to this sport?
Honestly, you know what, man? I growing up in Detroit during the late 90s when the Red Wings were winning all those Stanley Cups. They won back-to-back cups in 97, 98, which I was 8, 9 years old, a very formative time in a young sports fan's life. I went to the school that I went to, which also, I guess, kind of, it helps a little bit into my narrative. So I went to a predominantly white private school, and I was one of the only black kids in class, and everybody in my class loved hockey. And growing up, I was always told, "Oh, black kids don't like hockey. You're more basketball, you're more football." Well, I fell in love with hockey. I loved hockey. So because all my classmates loved it. So my classmates are talking about the Red Wings, they're talking about the power play and all of this other stuff. So then I got involved. So that's how it happened. And I actually went home one night. I will never forget this. I went home to watch a Red Wings game, and they just so happened to be playing the Edmonton Oilers, who at the time had 3 black players on their team: Anson Carter, Mike Greer, and George the Rock. So for a 8, 9-year-old black kid from Detroit to see 3 black players on one team, like, that was massive for me. I remember I was running around the house, "Mom, there's 3 black guys on the Oilers. Like, black people play hockey." I was from that moment, Buck, I was hooked, man. And honestly, for me, I think about that story. I think about all the young girls who go to Torrent games and they watch the USA hockey team winning gold, and other black kids, other, members of marginalized communities getting into sports that history tells them you're not allowed to be in. And it's cool. So that's how it happened, man. I fell into hockey because I wanted to fit in. And here we are. Almost 30 years later. It'll be 30 years and a couple of years later, I'm working in the National Hockey League.
It's great. Sports are sports, that's the best thing about it.
Oh, yeah.
They all just, they're different in how they look, and they different what the rules are, but at the end of the day, it's competition. It's fun. It's excitement. I'm glad you're on here to talk Kraken hockey every single week with Everett Fitzhugh, of course, the voice there of the Seattle Kraken. All right, let's start with, they got a game tonight. They're taking on the Avalanche. Yeah. Thank God my wife's not here. She's from Denver, Colorado. She's a huge Avalanche fan, so she'd be running around tonight with her Avs jersey on, just going, being a lunatic. Not a great start here since they got back from this Olympic break, right? 2-5. Yeah. They've lost 2 straight since the trade deadline. What has happened, right? They're still clinging onto that last wild card spot, but they've come out of the gate not doing great, Everett.
Yeah, that's the silver lining. And Lane Lambert kind of alluded to as much the other day. If you're going to take a very, very small moral victory, which there are no moral victories, especially 64 games into the season, if you're going to take a very small moral victory out of this, it's the fact that you've been caught by LA, but you've not been passed by LA. So you're still in that playoff spot. The big thing for the team out of the break has been the compete level. I mean, Lane Lambert has said it. Multiple players have said it. We're not competing hard enough. And it's a lot of little, small mistakes that you can't be making 63 games into the season. So that's going to be the big test for the Kraken here tonight. I know that the Avs are a little bit banged up. I was texting with their broadcaster this morning, and he was saying they got about half their forwards dealing with something. But, I mean, you're still going up against a juggernaut in the Avalanche. About the only category that they're not in the top 5 in the NHL in is their power play. And top 3 is their power play, which is near the bottom. But when you're, averaging 3.6, 3.7 goals a game, your power play, you don't really need it. So, but I think it's that compete level. It's the work, the mentality, the working hard that the Kraken they're just not getting to that level that you need. And you go into the Olympic break, the Kraken won 6 of 8 going into the Olympic break, playing arguably some of the best hockey that we've seen from this team in the last 2.5, 3 seasons since they made the playoffs. And now you've lost a lot of that momentum. You've got 3 more games coming up at home tonight, and then Sunday, Tuesday against Florida, Tampa. You go to Vancouver Saturday. But when you get back after that Tampa game on St. Patrick's Day, you have a 6-game road trip out east, and then you pick up Edmonton on the way back. So this coming up is going to be a season-defining set of games from now until the 1st. You've got 10 games between now and the start of April. And you're looking at 20 points on the table. I would venture to say 15's a minimum, but you got to be looking at that 16, 17 point mark just to try and keep pace with all the other teams that are right there with you.
Lack of competing, is that a personnel problem or coaching problem?
You know what? Honestly, I'm not ready to say either one. I think it's more personal than it is coaching, but also this time of year. I mean, you've had guys in and out of the lineup with illnesses, and again, that's no excuse because every team is sick. There's a flu bug. There is a some type of bug every year from March 1st through April that ravages this entire league. We're all sharing the same planes, the same buses, the same locker rooms. Someone's going to get sick. But I do think that, players will tell you, Brandon Montour said it, they wanted it more than us. The other night when you're playing the Ottawa Senators, he said it. They wanted it more than we did. So to me, that says personnel, but hearing Brandon Montour say that, hearing Jordan Eberle and Shane Wright and Matty Beniers say that, the onus is on the players, which says to me they're not looking for excuses. They understand the gravity of the situation that they're in. So this team, to hear them own up and man up and step up and say, yep, I got to wear this. We as a collective group have to wear this. I'm expecting that to turn around here, hopefully tonight and definitely moving forward.
Was it a lackluster for someone from the outside looking in? Was it a lackluster trade deadline? They do get Bobby McMahon there in that trade there from Toronto. Has not played yet, right? Visa issues with him.
They're hoping to get him in
but
tonight. It sounds like they've been trying to push that visa through. They hope to get him in tonight.
How do we still have visa issues in 2026?
Hey man, listen, he's a Canadian playing for a Canadian team, so like that's the double whammy. You got,
I guess.
Well, and also too with the trade deadline being on a Friday and the Lord rested on Sunday, like everything was closed, right? So they had to push everything through.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe Bettman can call the Lord and be like, "Hey,
let's get old Bear on the phone. See if
hey, Seuss, we got to push this through for the Kraken." But describe it. What was that trade deadline like? Was it about what they needed? Do they need more?
You know, I understand the frustration that some folks may have about the deadline and the Kraken maybe not being active enough, maybe not doing enough in that sense. But the level of player that the Kraken needed, you know, this team needs a top line offensive player, whether that's a center, whether that's on the wing. You need a guy that's gonna count for 30 to 40 goals every single year. You need a guy that's going to consistently be putting up 70 to 80, 90 points a game. And those type of players are few and far between. Now with the CBA changing next year, now with guys, you know, the cap going up, most players are going to be able to get what they want. Free agency period moving forward, I think we're going to see a lackluster free agency period, which means a lot of these things are going to happen in trades, which means prices are going to get a lot higher. The Kraken coming into the trade deadline knew that their expiring free agency contracts, you had Jordan Eberle, Jaden Schwartz, Jamie Alexiak, Matt Murray, and Ellie Tolvanen. You had those 5 guys all on expiring deals after this season. Those guys garnered a little bit of attention, but I'm okay with hey, this group got us here. I trust in this group. We owe it to them to see if they can pull us through and get us back to the playoffs. Now, you look at the assets that you had, the draft capital, 4 first-round picks. I believe the next 2 or 3 drafts, the Kraken have 12 picks in the top 2 rounds in the next couple of drafts. So they have a lot of high draft capital to play with, but the Kraken didn't want to spend a top prospect, 3 first-round picks, and whatever asset for a guy that potentially might not be around this year, or for a player that isn't worth that ask, right? There's going to be some overpay in the NHL, but you don't want to overpay that much. So the market this year, especially with the number of guys that had no move clauses, you know, Jordan Kyrou and Robert Thomas from St. Louis, those are the 2 big names that were out there for Seattle and other teams. They both had no move clauses. Artemi Panarin, the Kraken threw a really good deal at Artemi Panarin, who's coming off of back-to-back 100-point seasons. He went from the Rangers to the LA Kings right before the Olympic break. The Kraken made a really good offer for him, but at the end of the day, Artemi Panarin came out and said, my only destination, I only wanted to go to the LA Kings. So when the player comes out and says, I only want to go here, that's not your fault. You know, you tried, you gave him the offer, you gave him the term, but he didn't accept it. And that's where I think a lot of folks might not understand that nuance behind the scenes. It might look like, oh, the Kraken didn't do anything. Well, it takes 2 to tango. Who knows? Jason Botterill could have offered up the farm, and, you know, Team B could have been like, thanks, but no. So, you know, I think there needs to be just kind of a full both sides' view on this thing. But I think for what the Kraken did at the deadline, Bobby McMahon's a really good player. You bring a lot of speed. You bring a player that wants to shoot the puck, that has a willingness to go to the front of the net, both things that the Kraken have been looking for this season. So while it might not have been the biggest name on the list, the trade list, I still think McMahon's going to have a really big impact for this team.
How scary was the Schwartz injury Saturday? And we expect, right, he's out probably with the rest of the regular season. What about the playoffs?
Yeah,
if they do make it.
Indefinitely, we've not been told anything official, but when I hear indefinitely, that says to me that we're looking at maybe for playoffs. And again, this is based off of just my opinion, so don't quote me on that. It was a very scary injury. We only saw it from the press box and then on the replays, and he caught a skate to the mouth. Everything looks, I mean, he's on the road to recovery, but anytime you deal with a skate injury in the NHL, I mean, there's been a couple in our league that, and I think you know the big one from back in the 90s. We don't talk about it because it is that gruesome. But anytime skates are involved with the neck and the face and you get cut, I mean, Gabriel Landeskog, he got a slash his tendon on his leg. It took him 3 years to come back for the Avalanche, and he's still probably not 100% where he needed to be before that injury. So, but Schwartz, from everything that I've heard, I've yet to see him since the injury, but from everything that I've heard, he's on the road to recovery. He's fine as fine can be when you take a skate like that, but they're hoping to get him back. If this team goes to playoffs, knowing the kind of competitor that he is, I don't think he's going to be sitting out longer than he absolutely has to.
All right, we'll cut you loose. This is going to be fun having you on here every single week. I think by the time we talk next week, they'll have about 4 games under their belt. So hopefully they can turn this around. This is the thing, right? They win 3 or 4 in a row. They lose 3 in a row. So they're bound to be on a winning streak here, Fitzy.
That's the best thing about hockey, too. And that's why I love doing this here in Seattle. Number of fans who either aren't hockey fans or casual hockey fans. We've got baseball. We've got football. We had basketball here for a long time. There's nothing like the last 20 games of the NHL season and then into the playoffs, because a week you're golfing. The next week, you're in first. Like, the Kraken could be in first place by the next time that we talk. Again, there's no explanation for it. So
it is. It is one of the weirdest things in all of sports. Well, I'm glad that you're doing this weekly with us. I know our audience is too. Of course, you can follow him if you don't already. On social media, the voice Fitz. It's great. It's one of the best handles of all time. Everett Fitzhugh, ladies and gentlemen, the voice of your Seattle Kraken. Thank you, Everett. We'll see you next week.
Thanks, buddy.
If it's fun you desire, it's fun you're going to get at Flat Stick Pub. It doesn't matter what the occasion is, whether it's date night, guys night, ladies night, or large group event, Flat Stick Pub's got you covered. They have 6 great locations across the Pacific Northwest, from Pioneer Square to Kirkland, South Lake Union, Spokane, Bellingham, and Redmond. All locations offer the best pub experience in Washington. 2 rules at Flat Stick Pub: drink local and have fun. Pretty simple. So if you like to have fun, love local beer, and great tasting food, make Flat Stick Pub your next spot. Visit them at flatstickpub.com. I had a great chat with Stretch this week on the Sports Pit.
No, you can't call it the sport.
Yes, I can. I can do whatever I want.
Has Sandmeyer been back yet?
Well, I haven't heard from Sandmeyer. I don't know if Steve is alive. I'll be honest.
You can't call it the Sports Pit.
Can do whatever we want.
No.
It's our rules, our time.
No.
Stop distracting.
Yeah.
So we got in. I had never heard the story. Maybe he had told me, and maybe you've told me. Like, how did he get I was like, who gave you the nickname Stretch? So he goes the long, roundabout way. It was you. He was working overnight.
This isn't roundabout.
Well, no. Just this
direct.
is not part of the story. This is not part of the story that I'm going to get to. So he's working overnights, and then he'd come in. He'd see you guys. He'd run the first hour before. I think it was Stelton would take over. Anyways, And I was like, well, what number? Eventually you became his producer and, being a smart ass. Like, what number were you? I think he said, I was like, I know. Listen,
We're going to, is this what this is all about? We're going to go do this now again.
Yeah.
You only do this every third week, but go ahead.
I know. Well, but it's good though. We get new audience and we recycle it. You got to, it's like the hits. You got to,
I can tell you get new audience. I'm
you
looking
got to play Taylor Swift over and over again. So I was like, well, who'd you replace? Do you remember who Stretch replaced?
No. I don't,
zero recall.
I don't even recall, if I'm being honest, Stretch working on this. Did he really work on the show? I don't recall.
He did.
By the way, can you tell your audience why his nickname is Stretch? Or do you not know?
Stretch Cunningham, ladies and gentlemen.
Do you remember Stretch Cunningham?
No, yes, but that show was,
okay.
I'm not old enough to really appreciate the show.
First of all, his name is James Cromwell, the actor. He was a big actor. He was in like a lot of movies. You'll recognize him when you see him.
Yeah.
You got to look at the picture and tell me that Matthew Stretch, is not a carbon copy of Stretch Cunningham. He looks just like him. That's the first thing. The second thing is, it seems like I say this every week to you. I'm going to send you, and you can go back to your little shenanigans about how many producers I had. I'm just as an aside. What I believe was one of the greatest scenes, maybe the greatest scene in sitcom history. And I'm not saying it with hyperbole. Literally, if you said to me, Mitch, what was the greatest scene, funny, heart-wrenching, pulls on your strings, all the emotions, I will send you a clip after we're done today of what I would consider maybe the greatest sitcom scene of all time. And it involves Stretch Cunningham.
Okay.
All in the Family. But go ahead.
All right.
I don't remember who did he replace.
Okay, so do you recall of all the producers you went through, and it's a lot for people who don't know, it's a long list. It's a long list.
But what people don't understand is I didn't fire producers. In fact, I fired almost none. Everybody thinks, Mitch kept on firing producers. They all left to go have big careers.
Or they left to, for their own
to escape
for their for their own life.
I almost didn't run. There were a couple I ran out. There were not many. Okay, did I run out?
Okay, so do you recall anyone that was ever served prison time?
Oh, see Andy Pickens, Jism Hand.
That's who I think that's who he replaced.
I remember
was Andy Pickens.
Is he still around?
I don't know. So I wanted
Pickens, I think his name.
I want to tread lightly because I don't know, and I don't know him.
Oh, you don't know C. Andy Pickens?
No. So he what did he go to jail for?
Oh, I don't know that. That was way after.
It was after you left the show, right?
Yeah. I don't know his personal issues or whatever happened. I just know that I worked on him for I don't know how long he worked on the show. He wasn't very good like the rest of them, like Stretch.
There we go.
But he'd shake your hands and your hand would be like, ooh, it would like slip. His hands were always wet.
Oh.
And so I was trying to convince him. Yeah, slimy. Trying to convince him for years. Listen, see Andy Pickens. And I called him Jism Hands on the show. That was his nickname.
Perfect.
And I say to him, would you just start using the fist? Don't shake people's hands. Just use the fist. He's like, man, I can't help it. He had a condition. There's actually a condition. I don't think the medical term is Jism Hands. I don't think. But there is, if you look it up, there is a condition. A lot of people have it where your hands are sweaty or they perspire or they ooze some sort of liquid. And he had this. Jism Hands.
And he went to the fist. I mean, he almost was before his time. I don't think people were fisting then.
Yeah.
Now everyone's fisting.
Great. Where do we go from here? Where do we go?
I got a great transition. So do you remember?
Are we talking see Andy Pickens still or no?
No more Andy Pickens. More producer talk. More producer talk.
Well,
As we were-
I know. That's what he used to say.
As we were talking about this, I had later that day on Tuesday when we do it, I had another former producer text me saying, I got shingles twice working on that show.
What?
Shingles.
I don't know that. Yeah,
Shingles.
so they're going to blame me for the shingles?
Yeah, stress related. You get shingles from stress.
Jesus Christ.
You cause someone to have shingles. But now, that's not why I wanted.
I was really looking forward to today. This has been fun so far.
Yeah, it's been really good.
This is really.
Hey, I'm delaying Randy and Cal talk. All right.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. This is great. It gets better.
Yeah.
Do you remember what? Because I worked with her. Do you remember the girl that came up from Portland?
We've talked about this.
No, we haven't.
Yes, we have. Yeah.
I don't recall.
He was up for a minute.
How many? Was it 2 weeks?
Yeah.
2 weeks? Wasn't it about 2 weeks that she came up?
Weird. I've never seen her since. She just decided she never moved or whatever. What? What do you want?
86. 86 was her nickname.
Well,
I can't remember her name, but we called her in Portland because I worked with her.
Got shingles?
No, we called her 86 because she would get kicked out of multiple bars. And I remember her asking me.
Who got shingles?
No, shingles?
You just
Matt Pops Gashk got shingles twice.
And Gashk is blaming me for the string. I don't believe that. I want to hear it straight from him himself.
He's sending you a bill, I believe.
I'll pay it.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something. When you said that Matt Gashk, when you said that somebody, a producer of mine, says I gave him shingles, I immediately said to myself, all right, this is such bullshit. Whoever said this is lying through their teeth. I was not going to, but literally there was only one name that you could give me right now that I would actually stop and say, okay, if he said it, and that's like Matt Gashk. I mean, there's no way Matt Gashk is lying. I love Matt Gashk.
Everybody does. Everybody. He was like the most cool, calm, and collected producer you ever had.
He went like 3 weeks without talking, I think.
You're right. He was a man of very few words. I mean, just nothing would faze him. And all right, yeah. Well, 86 was her name, and then there was another one that Stretch and I were trying to think of.
Hey, what do we do?
And that was done. I was just we were going down memory lane
here. Oh, this is great memory lane.
I was thinking about you, and I saw a tweet.
Mm-hmm.
I saw a tweet that last week. You know, we all have these favorite players. We all and sometimes they're not stars, but we just gravitate towards them because there's just something about the player and we love them.
Yes.
You have a crush on one particular player that I love. I adore it because you're all in on this player. And anytime
like a son can do no wrong.
And anytime this player does something, you're just like, oh, I can just see you salivating as every time he gets a hit or a play. And that would be a guy that I think pretty much is about my size. He's probably about 5'9", 230 or whatever he is. And that would be Michael Arroyo. This guy. You love yourself, Michael Arroyo. Love him. And I saw you when your good friend Brady Farkas had tweeted out his numbers at the WBC because he's doing really well.
Farkas got really mad at me today.
Okay, well,
I don't follow him on Twitter. Apparently, after all these years, I don't follow him. Pissed.
Well, I can understand how he would be upset.
I follow like 6 people. I hit the button. I made him happy. Whatever.
Did you mute him already?
No, I'm gonna quietly unfollow him later tonight.
So you love Michael Arroyo. The best part, and because you I think we're gushing about his stats, and then the best part I saw from Brady was this guy is so bad defensively, so god awful.
Yeah, he's bad.
That 38-year-old Donovan Solano, and I didn't know this. Who's he playing for? Colombia? Who's he playing? Venezuela?
Who? Arroyo?
Who's Arroyo and Solano playing for?
Well, Arroyo's, I don't know about Solano. Arroyo was the leadoff, because they're out, was the leadoff hitter for the Colombian national team.
Yeah, but Solano's on that team.
Okay, well, I don't love Solano. I love Arroyo.
I know, but the best part was because he's so bad defensively, a 38-year-old Donovan Solano has to play second base on that team. That was the best part of the story. I just love
That's
it.
a problem.
He's so bad.
That's a problem that he's so bad at his young age because he can't be a pure DH. I mean, you're not bringing him up to be. But what I love, as much as I love Michael Arroyo, let me, if you really want to talk about this seriously, let me tell you what I love about him. What excites me about him.
There's lots.
Well, there's one thing in particular. Because A, it's A and B. He's hit everywhere, every stop. He just hits. He's like a hitting machine.
Wow.
And B, he's done it playing second base. Now, if you told me that Michael Arroyo is going to be a third baseman for the Mariners, I wouldn't be nearly as in the bag for Michael Arroyo as you say. What has excited me all these years was, could you imagine getting a second base? Now, we're speaking on a day about second base. And I did a whole spiel. I don't know if I talked to you about this or not. I felt I went to an exhibition game and I came back and I felt really like dismissive of Cole Young. Like for whatever reason, I just decided, and I didn't even conscientiously decide. I just like in the back of my mind have been walking around at the beginning of this spring training thinking, okay, Cole Young's never going to make it. And I don't know why. The guy's had like no 200, nothing. And he's a first-round draft choice. He was their number one prospect. Okay, so he didn't hit well the last few months. How could I just like to completely write him off? So I've done an attitude adjustment. I'm trying to have an open mind. And then I went to another game the other day. He hit 2 home runs right in front of me. I mean, he clocked 2 home runs right in front of me, and he had another hard hit, I think single. And then today, on the day that we're recording this, I think he had a home run double and a single, and they were like 100 miles an hour off the bat, right?
Yeah, he's his slugging. I looked at it the other day. It's like over 600. His OPS is well over like 980. Yeah, he's killing it. I mean, from a power standpoint.
Yeah, but do we want? I mean,
well,
now is he going to strike out like more than a DH, like more than Montez? We don't want a second baseman who's going to strike out every time he comes.
Well, the first person I thought of when you can tell that he's added a little bit of weight in the offseason. How much I don't know, but he's clearly made this conscious effort to hit for more power. And the first person I thought of was Evan White. Because when they did this with Evan White, they did this when Evan White started chasing home runs. All right, thank you, sir. Another edition of KJ-Arent with Mitch, host, of course, of Mitch. I can't even speak. What's your show called again? Mitch Unfiltered.
That'd be right.
Yeah. It airs in its entirety during the Daily Puck Drop, and of course, you can find everything once it's over at MitchUnfiltered.com and also at PuckSports.com. All right, Mitchie.
Shingle twice, really? Twice.
Drink Georgetown Tavern Beer. Your new, locally brewed, domestic-style lager. 4.2% alcohol. Cheap, good, local.
I don't know why people, I was saying on social media, we were talking about the Miami Dolphins running back, Devon Achane, right? Why are people so against Devon Achane? Oh, they just got rid of Ken Walker. There's no way we could get him. He's better than Ken Walker. Like there is no debate who a better running back is between Achane and Ken Walker, right? We understand that. I mean, I know it would cost them a lot. I don't think it's going to happen. I'm just saying he swings big on trades. And Mitch is 100% right when it comes to John Schneider. 100%. Because he didn't go into this offseason going, well, we're just going to let Ken Walker go and, well, hopefully we'll figure it out. Now, what that plan is, none of us know. Only he does. Maybe that plan's blown up. Maybe he's on to plan, whatever plan A was, maybe that went away because he knew Walker was going to go. I mean, I assume going into the offseason, plan A was going to be Walker at their price tag. Plan B was going to be maybe another free agent. Maybe that free agent is gone now. Or plan B or C was David Montgomery. You know, we had Mike Garofalo on last week or 2 weeks ago, said that they had made calls, had had certainly shown interest in David Montgomery. But when, and I can't even remember where he went to now. Why am I blanking on where Montgomery went to? Somebody help me in the chat. But then when Montgomery gets dealt, well, then maybe they had to pivot to whatever that was on their list, C or D. But yeah, he's just not going to go into the offseason. Well, I hope it works out. We'll figure it out. I mean, clearly they're not going into the next season with Halani and Kenny McIntosh. And maybe it's somebody in the draft. Maybe every year these draft experts, and again, this is not a knock on them. They're just evaluating the players they're seeing. You know, say, oh, it's a down year for this particular group. And for this year, the group is running backs, all right? It's a down year for running backs. Maybe. But just maybe these guys don't like a certain player that's going to be somewhere in the third or fourth or fifth round that other teams do like. And you just don't know. They get an opportunity to go in the NFL. Whatever they showed in college maybe didn't translate on film, but they're better football players than maybe these draft experts give credit for, and they turn into good players. So I don't think they're going to lean on someone in the draft, though, to be the guy. I mean, I think we all expect them to take a draft. John Schneider has a history of pulling off big trades, and he has a history of pulling off big trades in the offseason. I mean, he does a lot of it during the season, but in the offseason, huge deals. He does it a lot. And I would be, whether it's for him or another sitting running back, I just wouldn't be shocked. And I wouldn't look at, hey, he's got 1 year left, and then he'd be owed a big salary as some type of hindrance. Maybe the $14 or $15 million in the price tag for Ken Walker was a hindrance because it was Ken Walker for them. Perhaps they view Achane a whole hell of a lot differently than they view Ken Walker. He's a different football player. He's a different running back. He's a better running back. He's more versatile. He's a fabulous runner. He's shifty. He's fast. He's incredible out of the backfield. That's what you got to. That is the biggest difference. I also think Walker is good out of the backfield. I don't think he got enough credit for it. Maybe they didn't use him enough, but this guy is a game changer out of the backfield. And if you look at that offensive coordinator that they've just hired, coming from San Francisco, coming from that tree, that Kyle Shanahan tree, what kind of running back did they have? And I'm not saying does he have a lot of similarities to McCaffrey? He does. There's a lot to him in terms of their ability. So I don't know. Yeah, I mean, it's a pipe dream. I know. I wouldn't just completely dismiss it. Stop dismissing it. All you people out there, all right? Let's get to on this day. Well, before we get to on this day, did we miss anything from the show today? Did I update you on the Bryce Miller? That's not good news. Not good news. Bryce Miller's shut down his bullpen yesterday early. I think it was like after 2 pitches. His oblique didn't feel right. Bryce, my oblique hasn't felt right for a number of years. In fact, I couldn't tell you where it's at. They don't seem to be overly concerned about it, but this is a guy that's been battling a lot of injuries and health issues, and they don't think it's going to prevent him from throwing, but I don't know if he felt something and he shut it down immediately. Maybe there's a chance that he's not ready for the start of the season. Anyways, options. We talked about a little bit with Divish on yesterday's show, but in the past as well. Criswell, and then also Emerson Hancock. This wouldn't be a situation where you see Kate Anderson or Ryan Sloan. Okay, I know it's spring training and we're not allowed to overreact with stats. I know. Especially when they're bad. You can only overreact when they're good. But I'm going to raise my hand. I'm going to raise my hand with the baseball in it. I got one eye closed a little bit right now on Luis Castillo. He has not looked good. And I know someone's going to say, well, now one starter was windy. It was windy for everyone. He just hasn't looked great. I hope it's just a spring training thing and he'll be fine. And I hope maybe first month of the season he'll be great. And he'll be like, yeah, you were an idiot for overreacting. And that's true. I overreact a lot. But a 15 ERA in 3 games. He's pitched in, I think, a little over 6 innings of work. 3 home runs, and he's been hit hard, like really, really hard. And he threw 51 pitches on Wednesday, 30 strikes. Got 2 years left on his deal. He's making a ton of money. $24 million this year, $24 million the next season. All right, let's get to On This Day. And, of course, On This Day is brought to you by Hive Social. On March 12th, check out the Hive Social Meetup app. It is the official social meetup app for Puck Sports. You can download it now from iOS and Google Play. And you can also search the Puck Posse group on Hive Social. Easiest way to learn and to meet up there on iOS and Google Play. And you can look for the group section that says a Puck Posse once you sign up there. Let me know. Send me a request, and we'll let you on in. All right, on this day, March 12th, when I found out it was this guy's birthday, it's put a big smile on my face. There is we all, as kids, right? We all had numbers that we wore probably in every sporting event, every sport that you played. I wore number 3 in everything. Well, I tried to in everything. But if I could wear number 3, I would wear number 3. Now, one of the reasons I wore 3 was for Dale Ellis. Loved Dale Ellis when I was growing up. The other person that I wore number 3 for was a man that is celebrating his 70th birthday today. A 7-time Major League Baseball All-Star. He was a 5-time Gold Glove winner. He led the National League in home runs in 1984 and 1985. He attended Woodrow Wilson High School. He is from the Pacific Northwest. He was born in Portland, Oregon. His senior year, pretty good. He hit .465. He ended up being drafted the 5th overall pick in the 1974 draft. He had a scholarship offer to go to Arizona State University and play collegiate baseball. He turned it down for good reason because he was drafted 5th overall. He would go on to have a hell of a baseball career. And when we had a little fishing cabin up in Vancouver Island when I was a kid. And we would go up there, and my dad had a satellite up there. A satellite, the only way we could watch any type of TV. But with that satellite, I got this station that we didn't have down in the States, at least where we were at the time, and that was TBS. So in the summer, watching TBS, I watched a lot of Atlanta Braves baseball. And Dale Murphy wore number 3. God, did I love Dale Murphy. Like a lot of kids who were probably my age growing up. And then I thought, well, I'm going to wear number 3 because Dale Murphy wears number 3. So happy birthday to one of the greats who wore the number 3. He was a hell of a baseball player, Dale Murphy, 70 years young today. I wish I had some video or some audio to go along with this, but you know what? When you're on YouTube, you can't play anything because of copyright. One of the best musicians ever. Every time one of his songs come on, I get a little teary-eyed, get a little emotional. He hits all the right notes. American singer-songwriter, 6-time Grammy Award winner, inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2000. His first real big hit in 1970 that went to number 3 on the charts, Fire and Rain. You got to know who that is by now. He went on to have a number 1 hit the next year. You've got a friend. Ladies and gentlemen, James Taylor, the great James Taylor, 78 years young today. That is on this day, March 12th, all brought to you by Hive Social. All right, Hey, What the Puck is brought to you by Tersuli Construction as we wrap up the show. From emergency response to full-scale rebuilds and remodels, Tersuli Construction, full-service contractor, handling your project from start to finish. Locally owned and operated out of Ballard, proudly serving the Puget Sound region for over 15 years. If you're dealing with damage or planning what's next, give the team a call that does it all. Tersuli Construction, restoring what matters, building what's next. Give him a call. Ask for Trent. He runs the company, does a wonderful job. He's really going to... any type of damage to your house, your business, he's going to take care of you. Or if you want anything redone to your house or business anyways, and it hasn't been damaged. They're the best in the business, in the salt of the earth people there at Tersuli Construction. 206-793-3744 or tersuli.com. When you go there, visit the shop. Got a golf simulator in there. Do business and play Pebble Beach. What a day. What a day for you. One of the cool stories as we get into this month is, of course, March Madness. And one of the cool things about it is these Cinderella stories, teams that have generally not been in the NCAA tournament now finally get there after long periods of time of being away. And something really cool has taken place this year over on the Palouse, and not in Pullman, but over in Moscow, Idaho, with not only the Idaho Vandal men's basketball program, but also the women's basketball program.
First time since 1990, Idaho is going to the NCAA tournament. And now the Idaho women's team has come out to celebrate with the men's team. The double dip for Idaho. They're both going dancing. Now the Idaho fans have to figure out which team they're going to follow.
Roxy, why not? I mean, you spread the wealth right here. There's no greater feeling.
It's Coaching Matters. Congratulations to the men. They knocked off Montana last night to go to their first NCAA appearance since 1990. This Vandal team, they beat Wazoo early in the season. I think it was game 2 or 3. It's a hell of a basketball team, and this is why it comes back to you don't have talent. I get it. Schools like Idaho and Washington State are going to struggle to find talent. This is why coaching matters. And the coaching matters at Idaho. That guy's been there for, I think this is his year number 3, and they've just gotten better each year. And he's recruited locally, by the way. A lot of kids from the Northwest, a lot of kids from Idaho. Number 14, one of his best players, just a stud from Coeur d'Alene. It's right up the street from both Idaho and Wazoo. And that coach had the foresight to recruit him and bring him to Moscow, Idaho. And they just play hard. They play hard. They share the ball. It's good, clean basketball, and the women the same way. And the women have got a great story as well. The coach is a first-time head coach from Brazil who got an opportunity. That when they won their conference, he had a great emotional press conference afterward, crying on there about how he was so thankful for the school and the athletic department to give him an opportunity. This is what makes this month so great. Schools like this. Do they have a chance to win? No, it's slim to none. But they're in. It's what makes sports great, March Madness. And what makes sports so compelling and why we all love it are stories like what we see over there at the University of Idaho. Congratulations to both the men's and women's basketball program. I'll tell you what, the Puck brought to you by Tersuli Construction. Restoring what matters and building what's next. Give them a call at 206-793-3744. Big thanks to everybody watching and listening to today's show. Thank you to all our sponsors who make it possible. We could not do without your support. Limback Lumber, for all your lumber needs, shop local, please. Visit limbacklumber.com. They've been doing business since 1930. Flat Stick Pub. You got a large group event, family, friends, business. No better spot to treat them than at Flat Stick Pub. Great food, great beer, great games, TVs everywhere. What a spot to sit there at lunch with your coworkers or friends when the tournament starts next week. I can't recommend Flat Stick Pub enough. South Lake Union location, Pioneer Square. Get away for a few hours. Tell your boss you're on a work call and go to Flat Stick Pub and catch March Madness. Also, Georgetown Brewery. Visit them at georgetownbeer.com. Hive Social and also Tersuli Construction. Find today's Daily Punch-Up on YouTube. Please subscribe to the channel. Leave a comment. Try to get to as many as we possibly can. And again, you may watch the videos but not be a subscriber, but hit that subscribe button. It does help, please. Also, what helps is when you visit all our podcast platforms, Apple and Spotify, please write a review. Rate the show if you can. That would be great. Also, find all our contests and more information, how to sign up to become a Puck's Posse member up at pucksports.com. Just $5 a month. We give you, it supports everything we do here daily. Plus, we give you bonus shows throughout the week. The Sports Pit. It will always be called the Sports Pit. With Matt Stretch Johnson out on Tuesdays. Inside Pitch with Ryan Divish yesterday on Wednesdays. And KJ-Arent. The full show, only available to Puck's Posse members once the live daily puck drop is over. KJ-Arent with Mitch Levy. Again, if that $5 you can't afford it, or whatever, for whatever reason, financial situations have changed, send me an email. We'll work something out. As always, puck@pucksports.com. All right, that's it for us on a Thursday. Coming up tomorrow, the PME show is back. We'll talk to Chris Egan and Jimmy Moore. We'll see you tomorrow. As always, we promise to be better.
No shoes, no ties.
Would anybody like to smoke some pot?
Yeah. I was born to lick your face. I was born to rub you, but you were born to rub me first.
What do you need my address for? We like to send out a mailer.
Mother of mercy, I don't speak Japanese!